It's near the end of an 18-hour bus ride over Nepal's rutted roads. Till Kamari Poon made the long journey from her remote village to the capital to meet with CBC News because we managed to speak with her only son. How is he? She cries. She's desperate to find out anything she can. Her son is here, a jail in western Ukraine, where he's a prisoner of war along with a few other Nepalese.
And so was your plan to send
We spoke to him through a video call.
Now I regret everything, like every movement, every step.
He says when he left Nepal, his plan was to study abroad, but he ended up a prisoner of war in Ukraine after joining the Russian military. He's one of hundreds, maybe even thousands, of Nepalese men who were recruited in part by social media videos like this, promising big money, the equivalent of 2,800 Canadian dollars a month. They showed soldiers looking relaxed and well taken care of, far from what many of them ended up experiencing.
I regret everything, like every...
We sat down with Poon's mother and some of his other relatives to show them the video of our interview with him. She can't understand much of what her son is saying, as a lot of the interview is in English, and at times she seems pained to look at the screen.
Did you know that there was a war?
No, how would I know being in a village, she said. He went there without telling me anything. When she discovered he was in the military, she called and tried to convince him to come home. But he said he wanted the job to help support his family. How stupid of him to go to the war without any skills or experience, she said. He went blindly into it for the greed of money. Like many other men, Poon said he didn't think he was signing up for a job on the front line.
Didn't you know that you were going there to fight Ukrainians?
I just asked with friends, like he said, they don't send us in front line, like we have no experience, so we are just 3.5 month training. After we were helping like medical supports and evacuation too.
But the front line is where he and others ended up. These are some of the dozens of men who have been killed there.
Namaste.
Now, some of the videos circulating on social media show men asking for help to leave. We're hoping that the government will return us back to Nepal, says this man. Nepal is a country of rich cultural traditions on the southern slopes of the Himalayas. It's a developing country with a growing tourism industry. But 1 in 5 people still live in poverty. And Nepal remains heavily reliant on money earned abroad being sent to support families back home. And the Russian military has tapped into that eager, often desperate workforce.
Did you know that he wanted to join the Russian military?
Yeah.
Bishal Khatri's older brother Vivek is also a prisoner of war. He told CBC News he was on the front line for a day and a half before being wounded in the leg and taken prisoner.
He's also telling me you not go to the front line, just you work in the kitchen. So.
But earlier photos sent home showed him posing in full combat gear.
Last option ma aera.
He found out he could get paid more if he went there, Bishal said. He even said if he dies, the family would get lots of money. Nepal has now banned its men from traveling to Russia on work permits. Officials say that about 170 who were there have now returned home after their military contracts expired. Now the government and volunteers are trying to track down the rest of the men and repatriate the remains of those who've been killed. So we've been meeting with a local activist who's been in touch with family members of Nepalese men who were fighting for Russia. And overnight she told us she got a call that 2 more men had died. And right now she's taking us to a home where the widow of another man lives. She lives on the outskirts of town. Once we make our way down a slippery path, we're welcomed into Tina Gimiray's 2-room home, where her children are getting ready for school. On the bedroom wall hangs a picture of her husband. He was in Nepal's military for 17 years and said he thought he was taking a job in Russia as a security guard. After he reached there, he told me it's very difficult to come back, she said. Gimiray said he paid an agent the equivalent of nearly 10,000 Canadian to get a visa and travel to Russia. The government declared him dead in the summer of 2023. I never told my son the bad news, she said. He asks, does father phone us? I reply, yes, he does. Gimiray is a house cleaner and fears for how she will support her family. She says the money her husband made in Russia is stranded in a bank account there. Kritu Bandari is an activist trying to help Gimiray get compensation. She's working with several women. She's led marches calling on the government of Nepal to do more to bring the men back and to stage protests in front of the Russian embassy in Kathmandu. She says Nepalese men are still going to Russia. We've received documents which show some have been recruited in the past month and a half, she says. Some have reached Russia, she says, by going through other countries like the United Arab Emirates. Nepalese police have arrested a few dozen people accused of charging thousands to help traffic the men to Russia. As part of their investigation, they found stashes of cash and passports. Poon's mother is appealing to the government to try to secure her son's release. She says brokers might have lured him to Russia, but the blame rests with him. He made the wrong choice. What can I say to him, she says. The people in Ukraine have saved his life. His fate, along with the rest of the POWs, now hangs on the prospect of a future prisoner swap. He's been in jail for nearly a year, but it's far safer than life on the front line.